Thank you once again for joining us at Lead Quick Videos. We're excited that you are here, and in this video, we want to look at, the challenges that are troubling our country, Nigeria. It is said that Nigeria is divided. Nigeria is deeply, deeply divided. And we want to make a projection in the sense that in this month of May, we are expected to have a new president inaugurated into office. And it is our expectation that this new president, will offer to Nigerians a new hope. And so we want to look at what should the incoming government do in this context that, Nigeria is deeply divided. Now, before we proceed into this video, we want to make an appeal to you, yes, you that is watching us, to please, do all you can to subscribe to this channel, follow us on whichever page that you are watching this video, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Now, that will help us to continue what we do at Lead Quick Videos. And so let's move into the matter of today. Now, what we are bringing before you is a trending issue. Now, you might not know, but the fact still remains that Nigeria is deeply divided across ethnic and regional and religious lines. Yes, Nigeria is divided, and there is no time in history that Nigeria has been divided along ethnic and religious lines as we have it today. And so it becomes very important that we look at the dynamics, we look at the issues, and try to, because the truth is, nobody will solve our problem for us. And so whether you are out there complaining will never change the situation. We all have to take responsibility. We all have to take initiatives to see that, we begin to introduce the kind of changes that we need across the country. So with over 250 ethnic groups and multiple religions, there are many differences in culture in Nigeria, many language differences and beliefs that can contribute to divisions within the society. And these fault lines that we have just mentioned have been exploited deeply by our political class, to oil their selfish political ambitions. And so here are quick examples of some of the, differences and challenges that, has troubled this country, Nigeria. So number one, like I've mentioned, is ethno-religious conflicts. For example, there have been clashes between the Hausa Fulani and the Yoruba communities in the southwest, and between the Christian and the Muslim communities in the north for many years. Secondly, there have been secessionist movements across the country. Secessionist movements in the southwest, in the north, because again, if you look at the history of Boko Haram, it's part or kind of a secessionist movement as well, because when you take up arms against the country, against your country, it can be considered a secessionist movement. Then of course you look at the southeast as well. There has been, agitations. Of course, south. There was a time also there was agitation of secessionist kind of movement. Now, with groups such as, all these that we have mentioned, you will agree with us that these movements have often been, also met with opposition from the government. Okay, whether it is in the south or whether it is in the north, south, southeast, southwest, northwest, northeast. These groups, these movements, secessionist movements, have been met with different kind of approach by the different governments. So all these, are what we consider as the challenges, that has continued to pervade the country and has continued to, provide the country with immense problems among the citizens. Now, unfortunately, the negative impacts of these divisions have continued to increase lack of trust among the citizens. People from the north not trusting people from the south, people from the south side not trusting people from the southeast, people from the southwest not trusting. across all the regional lines and religious lines, there has been a lot of marginalization as well, and stereotyping and discrimination. For instance, you go to certain places you want to work, they will tell you if you're not from, the north, or if you're not from the south, if it is a southern person that is the head of the organization, if you're a northern person at the head of the organization, you prefer to recruit people that are from your region or from your religion. Now, if you are looking for a clear example, a clear manifestation of this negative impacts, you will not have to look far into history. All you just have to do is to look back into the outgoing administration of President Buhari. Look back into the life and times of Nigerians between 2015 to 2023. Now, this past administration has shown that the negative impacts of division along ethnic and religious lines can be significant and can hinder efforts to promote social and economic development as well as national unity. So, you will agree with us also that the lack of inclusiveness or perceived lack of inclusiveness in President Buhari's appointments has generated increased perception of marginalization by some ethnic and religious grouping in the country who feel excluded from the government, like some of our Igbo brothers, who resorted to joining IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra movement, or the Izala and the Shiite religious crisis that surfaced during this administration. Now, one interesting thing that supporters of President Buhari does not know is that such level of perceived or real marginalization and lack of inclusiveness in appointments, for example, will erode the trust of the people in government. And I can tell you that these negative perceptions contributed to many persons not appreciating some of the wonderful policies, wonderful projects of President Buhari's administration, thereby creating national security risk for the country and instability across economic sectors of Nigeria. Now, no matter how you may look at it, the impact of President Buhari's perceived lack of inclusiveness in appointments has shown to be significant, both in terms of social cohesion and economic development. Now, here is the big deal. If President Buhari's administration exacerbated ethnic and religious division through his policies and appointments, the incoming administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is coming with a baggage of religious and ethnic division. While I would have wished that the generality of Nigerians would have come to accept the words of, Martin Luther King Jr. Signature speech of "I Have a Dream," where he envisioned a country where people will be judged by the content of their character or competence, as the incoming president will want us to believe, during his campaign, when he talked about the fact that it is not about religion, but it is about the competency of the people involved. Now, many Nigerians are not at that level yet, and rightly so, because we have different sensitivities. Our sensitivities differ. Our level of growth and development differs. But we are all a people that belongs to one country. And so we all are not growing at the same pace. And so leaders must learn to appreciate the sensitivity of their people, in the course of conducting their political or leadership businesses. So as this incoming administration is coming with a baggage of a Muslim presidency, which is a shift from the norm, it is incumbent on them also to shift the paradigm of leadership and performance to a different, whole new level. Now, it is good to note that the president-elect has promised to form a government of competence. But let us use this medium to inform him that competence is not a sole prerogative of any tribe or religion. Therefore, it is important for the incoming administration, for the incoming government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to prioritize inclusiveness in its appointments to ensure that all religions and ethnic groups are adequately represented and that the best and most qualified candidates are appointed to positions of power from across the regions and religions. Also, it is important for the president-elect to ensure that individuals in his kitchen cabinet or inner circle must work towards building bridges between different groups and promoting inclusiveness to overcome these existential challenges that faces us and create a more cohesive and united society, unlike what we witnessed during the election, where some of his cronies and some of his associates were highly seen to be, eliciting a lot of divisive tendencies. Now, we would like to call the attention of the president-elect to emulate the actions of the following governors who demonstrated the spirit of inclusivity when they made the following appointments. Number one, former Governor Femi Kayode of Ekiti State, who appointed Mr. Femi Falana, a renowned lawyer and human rights activist from Edo State, as the chairman of the Ekiti State Judicial Service Commission in 2019. Now, this appointment was widely praised for its merit-based approach, and it helped to enhance the credibility of the judicial system in Ekiti State. Number two, the current governor of Kaduna State, Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, who also appointed Mrs. Balaraba Aliyu Inuwa, a medical doctor from Bauchi State, as a commissioner for health in 2016. Now, this appointment was hailed for its inclusiveness and was seen as a reflection of El-Rufai's commitment to merit-based appointments. Mrs. Aliyu Inuwa's tenure as commissioner was marked by significant improvements in the healthcare sector in Kaduna State. The third person we would like to also recommend to the president-elect, who incidentally is a political ally, is Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State. Now, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State appointed Mr. Ibitu Ruhari, a lawyer from Bayelsa State, as the secretary to the state government in 2015. Now, while there was some initial resistance to this appointment, it was ultimately well received, and Mr. Harris' tenure was marked by significant achievements in the areas of public administration and governance. Again, the last person on this list for now, for this edition of this video, is Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, who appointed Mr. Usman Al-Haji, a businessman from Sokoto State, as the chairman of the State Pilgrims Welfare Board in 2019. This appointment was also seen as a gesture of goodwill towards the people of Sokoto State, and it helped to strengthen the relationship between Kano and Sokoto State. Now, you will agree with me that the impact of these appointments varied, but they generally help to promote inclusiveness, foster interstate relations, and enhance the credibility of the political process, which we so badly need at this point in time in our country's history. Now, this appointment also served as a departure from the traditional approach of prioritizing loyalty over merit, and they help to set a positive precedent for future appointments. And so, encouraging this type of appointment requires a shift in mindset and a commitment to merit-based appointments. This can be achieved through several measures, and which measures we are introducing or recommending to the president-elect to adopt as he forms his cabinet. We understand the president-elect is a very strategic person, and he has proven to be a capable person while he was younger than he is at the moment. And we are trusting that he is aware of some of these measures that we are trying to recommend to him, and we are trying to insist that you join us in calling his attention to the following measures to ensure that he adopts these measures. One of them is that he should ensure that he promotes transparency and accountability in the appointment process by establishing clear criteria for appointment. Now, we are expecting that by now he should have been engaging with us Nigerians to say, these are the criteria that I'm using to select my cabinet members. But we have not seen that yet. And like we said, if it's shifting the political dynamics whereby you engage, as a Muslim, you engage a Christian deputy, or as a Christian, you engage a Muslim deputy, and is going for a Muslim ticket, that is a shift from the norm. And we are also expecting that he should shift the leadership paradigm by ensuring that he takes a different approach from what we usually have, even in terms of appointment. And so we expected that by now it should have rolled out for us to see the measures that he wants to deploy, in making his appointment. So he should be able to open the selection process to public scrutiny and ensure that the most qualified candidates are chosen. Now, secondly, we want to also request of him to encourage diversity and inclusiveness by involving and recognizing the value of diversity and actively seeking out candidates from different backgrounds and regions. He should not limit himself. He should not limit his search for credible and efficient, capable candidates or capable persons for positions of the minister or the boards of chairman to a particular region or to people just within his network. He should be able to create more awareness and educate the public through the promotion of the idea that appointments based on merit rather than ethnicity or religion are essential for the growth and development of the country. Now, do you know any government that appointed persons from other states other than the states that they were from? These are some of the things that we intend to promote going forward, to encourage the president-elect and every other political leader in the country in this coming administration to emulate such practices and ensure that we build a Nigeria that every one of us can be proud of. And so you have more information for us, kindly let us know in the comment section. And until we come your way again, God bless you. And don't forget to share and to like this video.